So, show of hands, group stretch, hands up. All right, team dance. All right, guess what? We're doing both. Everyone stand up. So it's actually like a group stretch and breathe, so we're gonna go arms up. Now dance it out. Because we're happy to be here, and because I get nervous before I talk, and if I wiggle my body, then it moves the anxiety. So thank you. Hey, I really appreciate you indulging me in that. So, okay, slides are working. We're here together. What a treat it is to be together in real person, in a room, post-COVID. My name is Caroline Wong. I'm currently the Chief Strategy Officer at an offensive security company called Cobalt. And I've been working in the field since 2005. There has been a lot of cool technology. There's been a lot of cool changes and disruptions. And my absolute favorite part of this industry is the people. Several years ago, I started a podcast, and that is called Humans of InfoSec. On this podcast, I talk to real people about their lives and their work and their careers, and there are scientists and professors and students and public sector people and private sector people and researchers, and we've got a 13-year-old on there, you know, and what I love about this industry is that each and every single person is different and unique. And I think we really, really need that, because building and securing software, protecting and defending in this cyber world that we live in, it actually takes all of us. And I've been so pleased. And if you haven't had a chance to check out the podcast, highly encourage it. My biggest takeaway from the podcast is that there is no one path in this field. There is really only the path that you make up. On the podcast, I've talked to folks who've built information security curriculums, are professors of information security. I also have high school dropouts, college dropouts, people who didn't go to college at all. I've got artists, I've got musicians. It's all of us, and we all belong. So the first half of this talk is going to be a little bit about my story. I want to share some things about myself, both personally as well as professionally. The latter parts are going to be interactive. It's going to be super fun. We've got a microphone up here, and in section number 4, I'm going to be asking you to share with me and with all of us what are some of the things that you do for self-care. And then there's going to be an Ask Me Anything section, and truly, you can literally ask me anything. And so I really encourage folks, if you want to, come on up, you know, grab this microphone and share your self-care technique, ask your question. I'll also include my information, so if you prefer to have a chat one-on-one, I'll be here all weekend and would love to chat. So, the thing about being a human and working in information security is that it's weird. We cannot separate being whole human beings and the work that we do. I happen to be a cybersecurity professional and author, and I'm going to start out talking a little bit about my career path. So I started my information security career in 2005. I was leading security teams at a global e-commerce company and a social game developer. Since then, I've run a global product management team and been a management consultant at an application security company. I'm currently the Chief Strategy Officer at Cobalt, an offensive security company that has been on Inc. magazine's list of fastest growing private companies for 3 years in a row. I'm also super pleased to share that at Cobalt, we're often looking at a variety of demographic statistics, and right now, our executive team is 50% female. Out of the entire company, we have 50% men, 49% women, 1% non-binary. And those are kind of not bad, as we look around this room, we've got all sorts of folks, and so that's something we're really proud of. In 2011, I published a best-selling textbook with McGraw-Hill on security metrics. In 2018, I started the podcast, Humans of InfoSec, and I began making courses for LinkedIn Learning. To date, hundreds of thousands of learners have viewed my courses on cybersecurity at work and the OWASP Top 10. In 2019, a group of math students at the University of North Carolina wrote an article about me on Wikipedia. In 2022, my security metrics book was inaugurated into the Cybersecurity Canon Hall of Fame. I have been quoted and pictured in the Wall Street Journal. I have been interviewed on the CBS News morning show. My career seems awesome, and it is on most days. But as I mentioned, being a human is weird, and being a whole and a fragile human being, I, like everyone, go through life juggling, managing different roles and responsibilities. Sometimes one area of our life excels when another one struggles. Or worse, sometimes all of the areas have struggles, and sometimes it becomes exceptionally difficult to manage. I'm here open and willing to share some of my difficulties and struggles, and maybe folks can identify with something, or maybe we have some similar experiences. So here goes. In 2012, I married the wrong person, and in 2013, I got divorced. For years, I have struggled with anxiety, depression, and severe alcoholism. In 2014, my beloved father was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. In 2015, my daughter was born, and my father passed away just 1 week later. In 2016, I was laid off from my job, just like so many people in our field have been over the past 12 and maybe 18 months or so. I am a pretty open book, and at this point in my life, I feel so fortunate to have shared some parts of my story and received a lot of love and a lot of support. So sometimes personal life gets hard, and sometimes we experience hardships in our careers or adversity in the workplace. These can be scary times because sometimes you don't only fear the situation, but you can also be afraid of what happens if you try and do something about it. Sometimes it's not clear what we should do, and it can be kind of lonely. I know now that some work environments are healthy and others are toxic. I didn't always know this. I just sort of assumed that all work environments were the same, and that what I experienced when I was in a toxic work environment was normal. I want to provide a bit of context for this story that today, I'm 10 years sober. Thank you. It's a really super big deal to me. For a variety of reasons, I actually like myself better when I'm not drinking than when I am. And the situation that I'm about to describe happened when I was still an active alcoholic. This particular work environment was frankly a dangerous place for anyone with an alcohol problem. There was an open bar at company all-hands meetings, and when you walked into the office on a Friday morning, you'd be greeted with the choice to put Baileys in your coffee or champagne in your orange juice. One of the problems for me about drinking was that having a drink or 2 or 5 made it feel easy to forget about my discomfort and unease. Confused about a weird interaction with a colleague? Have a glass of wine. Not sure if you were just bullied or harassed in the workplace? Drink this beer, have another. Just forget about it. Now I know that when I'm feeling emotional, my emotions can lead me on a path to personal growth and self-discovery. At that time, I would just have a drink and I would push my feelings aside. I want to tell you about this one time when I was getting bullied in the workplace. At the time, I was the only female on an all-male security management team. 2 of my peers, I'll call them A and B, shamelessly bullied me. I will never forget when Guy A told me about how he and Guy B had worked together to set me up in one of our management team meetings with the sole intention of making me look bad in front of our boss. At the time, I didn't tell anybody about what happened. I kept it to myself and I tried to pretend that maybe it didn't happen. I was drinking a lot at this point in my life, and I found that if I had a few drinks, it was easier to forget about what it felt like to be treated so poorly. While that was a horrible experience that I wouldn't want to go through again, I did learn a lot from it. I learned that I will never again choose to work in a place where I don't feel psychologically safe. I will never again choose to work with people that I don't like and respect. I will never again choose to work with people who don't like or respect me. When this happened to me, I didn't know that I was supposed to be proactively seeking out good people when I was looking for a job. I didn't think I would have to do that. I just sort of assumed that people would be kind and respectful and supportive. I even wondered if people weren't good to me, if it was maybe my fault. If I could go back in time, I might have done things differently. I might have told someone about what happened. I might have confided in a therapist or a friend or my sister. I might have told someone in HR. I might have allowed myself to feel my feelings. I might have even considered drinking fewer cocktails and more water so that I could support myself in properly acknowledging and processing my feelings. I might have written about it in a private journal. I might have found some place where I could cry. So the cool thing about going through a bad experience is that you learn what you don't want. I found that out in this particular work experience. Frankly, I figured that out in my first marriage. The cool thing about making a really big mistake or going through a really hard time is you then learn exactly what to look out for. And when I joined Cobalt, it was just 10 people. And today we're more than 100. And it's been so much fun to grow the organization. You know, when there were just 10 of us, it was easy to promote a healthy workplace culture. It was literally just 10 of us. You know, we went and sat on the roof every day at 1 o'clock and we had lunch together. It was like grade school. It was the best. And if somebody new was going to join the company, they were pretty much going to talk to each and every single one of us. You know, so we were able to ensure that our values were going to organically be similar to those of the additional folks that we brought onto the team. But as time went by and the team grew from 10 to 20 to 50, we realized that this sort of one-on-one personal getting to know each and every single candidate for each and every single hire, it wasn't going to scale. And so we really had to define our values. And we used to play this adorable game. We would get the entire company together, and we'd go to an offsite, and we'd stand in a circle, and we'd go in order of when we joined the company. And it was the name game, and we'd start with the founder, and the founder would say his name, and then the second person would say both their names, and literally you had to say everyone's name, which sounds harder than it is. I'm just checking my phone because I want to make sure I know what time it is. It is 10:23. We're good. And so we go around in this circle and we play the name game. And then what happens is during our final session of this offsite in Miami in 2019, our then CEO and founder, Jacob Hansen, stands in the middle of the circle and he starts calling individuals on the team to join us, to join him in the middle of the circle. We're all standing around the two of them. And Jacob says, for example, "This is Julie Kurt. And I really, really like working with Julie." And he invited everyone in the circle to talk about what it is that we all love about working with Julie. And he did this with about a dozen of our team members. And meanwhile, I'm sort of like huddled in the corner with my laptop, typing and typing. And we get this spreadsheet full of attributes and cultural values. And over the next few weeks, together, the entire company writes down our values. And this is not something that the founders or the executive team wrote in isolation in an ivory tower. This is something that we observed in each other. And then we wrote it down. And I'd love to share that with you today. At Cobalt, we have 4 values. The first is humble learning. At Cobalt, we are humble learners. What we did yesterday may not work tomorrow. So we approach problem solving with a creative growth mindset. We understand that occasional failure is part of a natural learning process when trying something new. We humbly seek to learn from subject matter experts, mentors, and advisors. We believe that everyone has something to contribute. Where we have skills and experience, we share our knowledge generously and patiently with others. Our second value is lead with grit. We lead with grit. We know that achievement comes from a strong work ethic and relentless execution. We do not quit when the going gets tough. We are committed to high integrity. We do what we say and we say what we do. We take responsibility and we get things done. Our leaders are in the trenches with us. We find solutions, not problems. We innovate and we make things happen. We own our results and we create our success. Our third value is quality at speed. We produce quality at speed. Our customers and security researchers inspire our high standards. We set goals, make plans, and follow through. Our success measures and action plans are transparent and smart. Our questions, decisions, and actions are data-driven and KPI-focused. We seize opportunities. We know there is no time to waste. We say no to what is not important, and we deliver the right results at the right time. And our fourth and final value is One Cobalt. Finally, we know that when we collaborate, we can make 2 + 2 = 10. We respect our colleagues and we value each person's unique contribution. We genuinely believe in the Cobalt vision and we care deeply about our customers, security researchers, and colleagues. We recognize the critical importance of each constituency to Cobalt's continued success. We celebrate team wins and we show gratitude for one another. We lift each other up. So today and ever since then, these 4 values have been embedded into our recruiting process. They are literally in our applicant tracking system. They are embedded into our performance review process. And every year when we do a company kickoff, we distribute awards to individuals who are really great representations of each of these values. So here's the thing. It's a crazy world, and it's weird to be a human. and we work in security. We are the protectors. We are the defenders. And I want you to know that we are powerful. Each of us has an incredible amount of personal power, and it is the responsibility of each of us to take ownership of that personal power, to build it and grow it and use it to maximize the positive impact that we can have on the world. Our industry has a burnout problem. In order for us to do our best work, it's actually so critical that we take care of ourselves. Think about how much time you spend studying and learning and working and trying and grunting and just doing the grind each and every single day. What if you took a percentage of that effort and you took care of yourself? What if you took care of yourself the way that you strive to take care of your organization's customers and their needs and your teams? Burnout is described as a state of chronic stress that leads to physical and emotional exhaustion, cynicism and detachment, and feelings of ineffectiveness and lack of accomplishment. Does that sound familiar? Severe burnout means you can no longer function effectively on a personal or a professional level. The tricky thing is that burnout doesn't happen overnight. It sort of creeps in gradually in this sneaky way that fools us into thinking that living in a state of constant stress is normal and acceptable. Living in a state of constant stress shouldn't be normal, and it is not acceptable. What we're capable of bringing to the table as happy, healthy, functioning professionals is simply too valuable to lose due to burnout. Early in my career, I used to put up with being treated poorly because I thought that was normal. I used to treat myself poorly too. I don't do that anymore. Self-care starts with believing that you deserve it. I want to talk to you about a concept called cognitive behavioral therapy. The basic idea is that our thoughts and emotions and behaviors are all connected, and that you have the power to change, or at least influence, one by changing another. To do it, you identify a negative thought process, and you try to change it into a positive one. This is so much easier said than done because our negative thought processes are often so deep-seated in our brains that we don't even realize they're there. I'd like to give you a couple of examples. My parents are immigrants, and they raised me to be able to take care of myself and to have as many choices in life as possible. When I was growing up, doing well in school was a really big deal in our household. As a child and as a teenager, I did well in school, and that felt good. But when I started the electrical engineering and computer science program at UC Berkeley, all of a sudden, that part of my identity changed. It took me decades to develop the core belief that I am smart and I work hard. But unfortunately, over time, I also began to develop a few associated core beliefs that are quite negative and self-defeating. My worth comes from my success in school and work. If I'm not constantly exceeding expectations, then I'm a failure. I need to work harder, and unless I'm succeeding, I don't deserve to be treated well. These are lies. These are big, bad, horrible lies. They're not true. Over the past decade or so, I have worked hard to try and replace these negative belief processes in my brain with positive ones. I accept myself as I am right now. I know and I approve of myself. I embrace balance. I allow myself to play and enjoy life. I invite you to stand up and say it with me. I accept myself. I embrace balance. I play and I enjoy my life. Thank you. We're gonna do it again. You can stand, you can sit, do whatever you want with your body right now, as long as it's not illegal. Here's another CBT for y'all. The first one was about depression. And now we're gonna talk about anxiety. What might it be like to be in a room filled with people whose professional jobs are to think about the worst case scenario all the time and to warn other people about it? What might that be like? And what might our brains be like on the inside? You know, might we begin to possibly believe that bad things happen? And when they do, I won't be prepared. I have no control over my life. Lies. They're all lies. Stand up, please. Shit happens. I focus on what I can control. I trust my future self. Here comes the weird part. Oh, has it not been weird already? I actually want to take a moment and I want to double click on this idea that there are some things that we can control and some that we cannot control. There's a topic that I presented at a talk last year at the RSA conference in San Francisco about cybersecurity and tarot cards. What? That's weird. There's a lot that we cannot control. The behavior of bad actors, the malicious attacks that are launched against our software, organizations, and people, the unintentional errors that we make, that our teams make, that the users of our software that we build make. We cannot control our stakeholders' opinions, decisions, and actions, including regulators, executives, developers, vendor partners. We cannot control the size of our security budgets or the size of our security teams. What then can we control? We control how we manage our time. We control how we manage our energy. We control our decisions and our actions and our behaviors. We control our opinions. We control the way that we think about things. We control the way that we interact with others. We control what we say and what we do. It is natural to get upset and stressed out about the things we cannot control. However, it's a little bit challenging, and it actually requires a change in mindset to be focused on and laser focused and intentional about what it is that we can control. I encourage you, as you go about your day, notice what affects your thoughts and your feelings. Paying attention to yourself and your thoughts and your feelings, what's that all about? Notice which of those thoughts and feelings come from external elements outside of your control, and then consider putting those aside. Notice which of your thoughts and feelings come from inside of you that you have complete control over. Consider pulling those closer. Cybersecurity is only decades old, but humans have been studying themselves for thousands of years. As a result, I think we as security practitioners, we may have an opportunity to look inward and study ourselves and consider our significant control that we have over ourselves, particularly our mindset. This is personal power. How do we perceive things? How do we feel about things? How do we think about things? I believe that each of us has choice and agency in this area, and we can purposefully and intentionally evolve our mindset. The archetypes that are expressed in tarot card are just one model for different ways of thinking and perceiving. If tarot cards are not your thing, you might find similar inspiration by flipping to a random page in writing by Plato, Marcus Aurelius, or Carl Jung. You might find grounding in Kabbalah texts, the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, or the Christian Bible. Even flavors of personality testing can be useful in this way. Myers-Briggs, StrengthsFinder, Enneagram, etc. What I love about the tarot is that I can go about my day mindlessly, caught up in a stream of emotions and thoughts that are largely driven and influenced by things outside of my control. Someone just doesn't get it. A business decision has been made that I don't get to backfill the person on my team who just left. Development managers are not prioritizing security vulnerability fixes. Incidents and fires are happening and they need to be addressed. Projects are not getting done. I am stressed out and exhausted. Sometimes I take a moment, a couple of deep breaths, I shuffle my tarot deck, and I pull out a card. And then I breathe some more, and I look at the card and its imagery. And I notice how I feel in response to how the card looks and what I understand about its traditional meaning. I ask myself at this moment, what can I learn? How might I be able to shift my mindset? Here's the very best self-care advice that I have to offer. And get ready, because the next section is the volunteer section. In fact, I'm just going to give you a preview so folks can start thinking about it. If you do something to take care of yourself, and if you'd like to share what that is with the group, please consider coming up to the mic and just sharing it with us. And I'm going to take this presentation off of presentation mode, and we're going to write it all down, and then we can share it. The best self-care advice that I have to offer: get to know yourself. Pay attention to how you feel and manage your energy accordingly. There are so many techniques and strategies about how to manage one's time. Brush your teeth while you're in the shower. You'll save 5 minutes. But what about your energy? There's only 24 hours in a day, but depending on your energy level, you can either feel completely depleted and like you have nothing left to give, or you can feel inspired, like your tank is full, and like you can accomplish anything. Find out what gives you energy and what takes it away from you, and choose your activities accordingly. Always remember that you have value and that you are worthy, regardless of what is going on externally. It's cheesy, but true. It's what's on the inside that counts. The only thing that can really make you feel good about yourself is if you're the one who believes it. All right, it is interaction time. Who wants to come up and share about their self-care techniques? You can shout it out. You can walk up to the microphone. It's like really far, so yeah, please join us. In theory, it's on. It is not on.
And it's also really short, so I'm going to fix that. Yes.
And I can hear you, so I can also repeat what you say. Tell me your name.
My name is Thomas Larkin.
Hi, Thomas Larkin.
I'm 22 years old, and I'm a graduating senior from Towson University.
Woo!
I'm somebody that, throughout my life, I have struggled with ADHD, anxiety, and depression, and while I'm on the other side of the coin, I am a person that has gone through divorce between my parents back in 2016. While in my life, I've found ways to deal with emotions that come up or something that comes up, and I figured I'd like to share that with you. So ever since I came on campus, I started doing student radio. I have a radio show where I do talk radio. I have started it back in 2022. It has been something that I have been projecting my voice out to people, and no matter who's listening, I know that they're finding passion and enjoyment in what I have to say. Alongside that, I have found enjoyment in the cybersecurity club over at Towson. I have been a leading member. I have been partaking in several competitions, and I've been finding that I'm not just the average guy that just sits at a computer and types away. I try to break the mold, and I try to be somebody that talks to people, lets people know who I am, and somebody that is open. The last thing I like to do, as crazy as it sounds, is I like to watch Robin Williams. He's been a big inspiration in my life. He's been somebody that always brings me to laugh. It feels like he's sitting right next to me on my couch when I watch him. And so when I watch the scene from Good Will Hunting with the park bench scene, I'll watch it and I'll just think about how he says all these things about the main character being somebody that you can't just read a book about. I've been trying to be somebody that isn't just read in a book, but somebody you have to experience.
Thank you so much.
I'm Gary Reimer. My mind runs a lot, all the time. I had a piano student who was a professional masseur. We swapped lessons for a year, and unlike him, I practiced. And I have found that giving and getting massage, so doing massage swaps, is a great way for me to go into that mindless float state. And if I'm making somebody really happy, and my massages are that good, so I do, that is very rewarding to me, that doesn't require any serious thinking. And if they reciprocate, God, you know you love that. So just taking care of the body and just totally chilling is the way I do that. COVID kind of broke that. I'm still open to doing it now that we're all vaxxed and stuff.
Phenomenal. You heard it here. Anybody needs a massage? Find our piano guy. Thank you. Who knew that we had physical bodies? I thought we were just brains floating in a meat bag.
Firstly, thanks for sharing. We appreciate that. My name is Dominic. Fun fact, favorite color is orange. So me personally, I'd like to really practice work-life separation. Staying active, boxing, going for hikes, working out. I like to give back to the community, so volunteering and philanthropy, video games, Street Fighter, Magic the Gathering, Final Fantasy, Call of Duty, unfortunately. And then anime. I feel like being able to mentally separate and just kind of immerse yourself in the things that you enjoy really help you to remember that you're a person and just kind of just embrace what makes you happy.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Let's do things for pleasure. So much of the stuff that we do is so important and it's so serious, but what if we just did things for fun?
My name is Learth O'Reilly. I am a red team operator, and so that means I'm constantly seeing a bunch of scary failures because I'm the one causing them before someone bad does. My preferred method of dealing with that is partition one of my weekend days for just myself. No chores, no work-related stuff, nothing. Just take care of myself for one day each week.
Thank you.
Oh, I feel short. Hi, I'm Jess McAndrew. I'm actually going through a midlife, mid-career pivot from real estate and management into cybersecurity, which has been amazing, but also incredibly stressful. And one of the things I do to manage is periodically every month or two, I try to take an entire weekend and go camping. Because my entire life is filled with learning new classes, constant communication, and just having that break from screen time for a weekend, even though I do cheat and go check my emails in the parking lot, has been incredibly helpful for restoring focus.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
I feel like, I wonder if folks are, over here, it's like a lot to get up in a big room and like walk over, but you can also raise your hand and maybe somebody will run a mic over to you.
Hey, so my name's Andy. This literally only just occurred to me while I was sitting there. What I do in my spare time, I play the guitar, I write music, I record music. This is great. But I spend all my day working in cybersecurity in front of a laptop, and in the evenings, I sit producing music in front of a laptop. So I'm saying, put the effing laptop down, go for a walk, join a library, read a book, listen to some music. And if you want music recommendations, you like heavy music, heavy metal, there's a great band from Britain called Sleep Token. Put it on the list.
Sleep Token.
Rock on.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Christoph Fulham. I stretch, I walk, I podcast, I create content, and I love talking to people about their journey, because that just separates it from what I'm thinking about them and sharing their stories.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jolene. I have really bad anxiety, so I'm mostly just doing this for my anxiety because this is good exposure therapy.
Yes, exposure therapy!
Thanks. So I've done Muay Thai for 5 years. I was human trafficked when I was 13, and I was in a part of human trafficking called the troubled teen industry. As a child, I had really bad depression because of a family dynamic, and that led to me being labor trafficked for a year. So that left me severely traumatized. But Muay Thai brought back a lot of that physical autonomy that I lost. It's incredibly undermined that we need to be in touch with our bodies and have a sense of like that we are in control. A lot of people lose that. A lot of women do, by the way. If you've ever been assaulted, there's a very good chance that you're incredibly disconnected. But Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu both have granted me that autonomy that I lost a really long time ago. And then in addition to that, cybersecurity has made me feel incredibly secure in my privacy, and it's really been the one driving passion that has kept me here on Earth. And I think that's incredibly important. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So my name's Joel. I'm a former nerd who got into marketing, working for a lot of other nerds, helping them find their voice and find their messaging. And about a year ago, I found myself at a job with an amazing company, but not quite the role for me. And I felt lost, and I felt like I was saying a lot of things or trying to say a lot of things that I wasn't being heard. So I decided to step out and become a solo consultant and figure my own shit out first. And in doing so, I invented a card, you mentioned cards, a card game to help my clients figure their shit out before they waste money on the marketing companies. And I found that it's been useful for me as well. And it's helped me find what my first principles are as a person before I start being distracted by helping other people talk. So I had to find my own voice first. And that was the main thing. Like, what are my first principles? What am I about? What am I not going to compromise on? So since you mentioned you liked cards, here's some tarot to go on with.
Thank you. Message deck. The get your messaging out of your heads and onto the table deck. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Umar. I just got into this industry, so I'm still kind of looking around and seeing what I'm interested in. My boss recommended this to me, and so far I'm overwhelmed quite a bit, but I'm enjoying it. And you kind of brought it back down to earth and humbled it. So I really appreciate that. For me, I like trying new things, trying new restaurants, things like that, activities. So that's my, like, I guess, escape with the mind. Body-wise, definitely the gym, boxing. My coach he's like a best friend to me. He's a bit of an older gentleman. Tells me some crazy stories from when he was in the Bronx, New York. He was a bit of a hustler. I'll leave that to your imagination, but spirit. I practice Islam, so the month of Ramadan just ended. It was a good time for me to pray and get back in the religion. So that's it.
Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you.
We're delighted that you're here.
Hello, I'm Calvin. I'm in 7th grade. So I'm in school a lot, obviously. I'm in 7th grade. So I have to do a lot of studying, get all this work in, and a lot of people with careers and jobs have to crunch all this work into a single time frame. And it can often be very stressful. But what I found helpful is that I don't even need to go outside or have to do this intense exercise, but I just get up from my chair, take a quick walk around the room, just quick stretch, and helps me clear my mind so I can be more efficient and productive.
Thank you so much. I wish I knew that when I was in 7th grade.
Short people problems? Hey, my name's Ray. One of the things that I suffer from is dysphoria, and part of that is my panic attacks. So a lot of my mind and body has been, hey, get off your desk. Get out there, start longboarding. I've been skating since I was 4. That's one of my huge things for body. One of my biggest things for mind is grounding, and mindfulness has been my biggest, just get back to square one, get back in the game. I feel like, I could speak for all of us. We work in a very hectic, very tense, very anxiety-inducing field. The ability to get some fresh air, feel the wind in my face, and reconnect with the people I live with, the passion that I love, the friends and family I've made along the way in this amazing field has been just eye-opening and has both helped me in my career, but also helped me in life.
Hi, I'm Rob Thompson. I work as a special response engineer for a local MSP. One of the things that I always face is so much of our work is in the virtual, in the abstract. And if anyone's ever faced the dreaded family reunion question, oh, what do you do? So one thing that always helps me is finding something I can make or do physically, something that you can end with a thing you can look at and say, I made that. And just the euphoria and just the centering nature of that has been wildly helpful.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Chinmay. I'm a graduate student at Johns Hopkins. So a major part of my motivation is people. So what I like to do is just listen to other people's story, be it my Uber driver or one of the students who are looking for admissions into college, or just some strangers on Reddit. So just hanging out with them, listening to them, talking to them, many of the time it sorts out my problem as well. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We were going to do an AMA, an Ask Me Anything, and what I'll invite you to do is let's find each other and let's talk, because there's so much more that we get to explore together over the next couple days. It's time to wrap up, and I want to leave you with just a few key takeaways and one final little exercise for us to do together. So here's the 3 takeaways. Thing 1, be committed to your work and learn everything you can. make sure you really understand whatever problem you're trying to solve, and then apply your talents and work hard. Thing 2, focus all of your efforts on the things you can control. Let go of the things that are outside of your control. And number 3, and most importantly, take care of yourself. You will deliver your highest quality work when your heart and your mind and your body are well. Thank you. Do people know about the self-hug? Give yourself a hug. A little self-hugging it out. Thank you.